Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our presentation. In this vlog, we are going to present Istisna financing. I am Zakaria Hassan Muhammad. My brother Ali Adnan will present with me. Before we go to the topic into depth, let's explain the definition of Istisna. Istisna refers to a contract in which a seller sells to a purchaser an asset which is yet to be constructed, built, or manufactured according to agreed specification and delivered on an agreed specified future date at an agreed predetermined price. There are two types of Istisna financing. The first one is normal Istisna, which is a contract between the bank and the customer, whereby the bank agrees to deliver the Istisna asset based on the agreed specification, and the customer agrees to purchase in the future based on the agreed price. On the other side, parallel Istisna is a contract that can be entered by the bank and the manufacturer in order to fulfill the contractual obligation of the first Istisna contract. The rationale behind the parallel Istisna contract is because the bank may not have the necessary expertise to construct the Istisna asset for the customer. The essential elements of Istisna financing: 1. Buyer and seller must be divided. 2. Offer and acceptance. 3. Asset should be specified. 4. Both parties have also agreed on the price and mode of payment. 5. Time and price of deliver must also be agreed between the seller and the buyer. Now, I will pass to Brother Ali. Brother Ali, what are the issues in Istisna finance?
Good question, Brother Zakaria. Although Islamic financing product is useful, there are also some issues with Istisna financing. According to statistics provided by Bank Negara Malaysia, the total Islamic financing provided through the Islamic banking system is around 803 billion ringgit as of November 2022. However, Istisna financing specifically accounts for less than 0.1% of total Islamic financing in Malaysia. So the reason for this could be due to the practicality and complexity of Istisna contracts. Existing literature highlighted that there are market risks which the seller would have to be mindful of. In the event additional cost is incurred when constructing the Istisna asset, such as in the event of late delivery, non-completion, and property damage, this would have to be borne by the seller, in which case the agreed price between the buyer and the seller could be below the total cost of construction. So relative to conventional financing, the contractual obligation of the seller in Istisna financing can be significantly extensive, which could explain the low utilization of Istisna financing in Malaysia. Existing literature also highlighted that arguments for Istisna financing are mostly ideological in nature. So from the conceptual perspective, Istisna financing can be an effective Sharia-compliant financing tool. However, in practice, the banks would normally have to apply other measures to control and to mitigate the risk in Istisna financing. Considering that other financing products such as Ijara can also be used to finance similar projects, the use of Istisna financing in this case is redundant and adds an unnecessary complexity for the banks. So I hope that answers your question. Back to you, brother.
Therefore, we have taken two banks. The first one, Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, which was founded in June 1983, and this bank became the first bank to deliver Sharia-compliant banking product. On the second slide, you can see the second bank, which is Kuwait Finance House, which was founded in 1977. On May 2005, Kuwait Finance House Malaysia Berhad became the first foreign Islamic banks to get licensed and operate in Malaysia. Also, in terms of regulatory framework, both banks use MFRS and IFRS. The reason why Kuwait Finance House Malaysia Berhad use MFRS is that the bank operates in Malaysia, so they have to use the system in Malaysia. Measurement, they both also use amortized cost. In terms of currency, they also both use ringgit. In disclosure, they consider Istisna financing as asset.
Let me welcome Brother Ali. In the context of Malaysia, what are the trends that we can see in terms of Istisna financing?
Another great question, Brother Zakaria. According to statistics from Bank Negara Malaysia, we can see there is a general downtrend in terms of the use of istisna financing in Malaysia. In 2017, the share of istisna financing as a percentage of total Sharia-based financing is around 0.41%. This has been coming down gradually over the past few years, where we can see istisna financing only accounts for 1 billion ringgit or 0.14% of total Sharia-based financing in the Malaysian Islamic banking system. As for the two banks which we have identified earlier, both Bank Islam and KFH operating in Malaysia have provided minimal Sharia financing using istisna financing contracts. For Bank Islam, the bank's total financing had grown from 42.7 billion ringgit in 2017 to 59.2 billion ringgit in 2021. However, the share of istisna financing have fallen from 0.3% in 2017 to less than 0.2% in 2021. This represents almost 38% drop over a 5-year period. As for KFH, the bank has been suffering a decline in its Sharia-based financing from a total of 6 billion ringgit in 2017 to only 4 billion ringgit in 2021. Nevertheless, the relative size of its istisna financing has been stable but very low at only 0.02%. To conclude, we have seen a general decline of istisna financing in Malaysia, perhaps due to the risks associated to the adoption of istisna financing. Nevertheless, istisna financing can remain a useful tool for Islamic financing. Certain risks which are faced by the seller in istisna financing can still be present in other Islamic financing products. As such, the use of multiple combination of Islamic financing tools such as combination of ijarah and istisna contracts can provide effective risk mitigation for the banks. That is all for me. Thank you for the great question. Back to you, Brother Zakaria.
Thank you, Brother Ali. That's all we have today. On behalf of Brother Ali and I hope you have enjoyed our presentation or our video. Thank you. And also we would like to thank our Madam Dr. Rozaniza.